Hello and welcome to Folsom Field. I am Matt Smith for 5280 Sports Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, Colorado knocks off the Washington State Cougars 38-24 tonight in a very good football game. It was the number one offense in the Pac-12 in Washington State versus the number one defense of the Pac-12 in this Colorado Buffaloes football team. And they certainly showed it tonight. Early in this one, Falk, Washington State's quarterback, came out absolutely slinging. Now, if you listen to No Bull Just Buffs this week, you would have understood the accolades and the accomplishments that Falk already has in his collegiate career. The numbers are video game numbers, they're insane. But tonight, Falk proved that he was as good as advertised. Extremely efficient throwing the football, and the accuracy was mind-blowing. The oohs and ahs, not only from the press box, but the fans. It was really impressive to see what Falk did tonight, and a lot of credit has to go to this Colorado defense for slowing down this Washington State Cougars team that scored 125 points in their last two games. It was a back-and-forth contest. Listen, there were 3 lead changes in the third quarter. Colorado would eventually take the lead 28-24 on Sefo Liufau's third rushing touchdown of this game, which is a career high for him, obviously. Sefo with over 100 yards on the ground and 3 TDs rushing as well. But once Colorado was able to take the lead off his final rushing touchdown, they finally were able to seal it with a Chris Graham 46-yard field goal, which was enormous for him. He actually did not start this game as Colorado's place kicker. It was Davis Price, who really missed just a terrible miss at the end of the first half. Absolutely shanked the ball, and the Buffaloes would trail at halftime 17-14. And it was at halftime that you thought, well, this is going to be a very interesting second half. How is Colorado going to bounce back, and exactly just what adjustments are they going to make? And a ton of credit has to go to Mike McIntyre and his staff, who in my eyes is runaway winner and runaway front runner right now for National Coach of the Year. McIntyre, Jim Leavitt, Brian Lindgren, Darren Chiaverini have done an outstanding job with these guys this season, and the Colorado Buffaloes football team is now number one in the Pac-12 South. They retain that title, and they have one more game to go this regular season, and if they win that game against Utah, they're going to go to Santa Clara and compete for a Pac-12 Championship. An outstanding performance from Colorado tonight, who was really led by their senior quarterback. And I've been talking about him all year, and people have repeatedly told me that they felt Montez was better, and then eventually Sefo came back and reasserted himself as this team's leader. But what was extremely impressive tonight about Sefo is he was brilliant. He wasn't extremely sharp. He missed a few throws in that first half that he would love to have back, missed a few surefire touchdowns. But what Sefo did tonight was lead his team, and he made plays when he had to make them. Wasn't careless with the football, made a few forced throws, but other than that was aces tonight. I mean, he's 27 of 41 in this game for 345 yards in the air, 23 carries, 108 yards on the ground, and 3 touchdowns rushing as well. The rushing attack and this Colorado offensive line that was a little bit banged up and actually graded out about 10 points worse against Arizona than they did against Stanford and UCLA had a very nice night. They bounced back. Some injuries they dealt with last week. They got some guys back healthy. Jeremy Irwin played. Jared Coe at left guard did not, but Jonathan Huckins did a very good job replacing him. Phil Lindsay, again, who has become the catalyst of this Colorado offense, had another great game tonight. He had 31 carries, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and was the heart and soul of this Buffs team, marching down the field alongside Sefo Liufau. Now, a lot of credit, like I said, has to go to the offensive line, but you really like what you saw out of these two guys. They're your team captains, they're your team leaders, and what they continue to bring on a week-in, week-out basis is just invaluable. And what they're going to have to do this week, getting this team ready for their final game of the season against Utah. And really, Utah's going to come in here. They just lost today to Oregon. Oregon having a bad year. Utah's going to come in here next week looking to kick Colorado's teeth right in. It's a Utah team that's going to play with not a lot to lose. They have to win that game, and they have to have some help from not only Colorado, but USC. At this point, I'm pretty sure they're mathematically eliminated from the Pac-12 South contention. But the Buffaloes have some business to take care of this coming week. They have to keep the distractions outside of the building. There's going to be more talk this week than there has been in a long time about this program. especially because this game was nationally televised. First time since 2009 on a major network. They were on Fox. The whole country got to see this one. It was a very good example of what this Colorado football team is. They're a bend, don't break mentality team. They fight for one another. They have a ton of veteran leadership, and guys make plays. A guy that was really impressive tonight was Nick Fisher. Afolabi Laguda at the safety position was ejected for a targeting penalty on Washington State's first touchdown of the game to make it 7-7. Nick Fisher would come into the game and stepped up and played a critical role, including stopping Washington State on 4th down there late in that 4th quarter that would give the Buffs the ball back and essentially seal the victory. It was very impressive from Colorado. Receiving tonight, Devin Ross was Sefo's security blanket for most of the evening. 8 catches, 121 yards. And Jay McIntyre, a ton of credit has to go to Big Play Jay. 7 catches, 90 yards tonight for Jay Mack, and he always seemed to be there whenever Sefo needed him the most. He had a very big game, and so did this Colorado defense, who it was looked for a while there like they weren't going to, but they ended up extending their nation's longest streak of forcing a turnover to 24 games at the end. The secondary was banged up. Akella Witherspoon was hurt a little bit in this game, but Cheeto Beawuzie, Isaiah Oliver had some huge plays, especially Isaiah Oliver, a couple of big pass breakups. Going against Luke Falk isn't easy. This kid is really good. I think he's not only a first-round NFL draft pick when he decides to go out, but I think he's a top 10 NFL draft pick. He's that good. He's maybe the most accurate passer I've seen at the collegiate level in the last 5 years. He's been a leader for that Washington State team, and Mike Leach's team still leads the Pac-12 North after losing this game, and they'll go and play the Apple Cup next week. So the two teams that will make it to Santa Clara and play at Levi's Stadium for a Pac-12 championship will be the winners of the Apple Cup between Washington and Washington State, or it will be Colorado if they can beat Utah next week. And if they can't, it'll most likely be USC, who plays UCLA tonight. But assuming they win that football game, they are playing some of the hottest football in the country right now, and they're certainly right behind Colorado as well. These Buffaloes have a big week ahead of them. We're going to get into this game in depth on No Bull, Just Buffs this week. We really appreciate you tuning in. And for Buffs fans, man, what more could you ask for? 9-2, 7-1. Nobody really thought this was going to happen other than those guys in that locker room. And it's been very impressive to see. It's been fun to watch. And this is the most exciting the University of Colorado Athletic Department has been in quite some time. This football program is rolling. They're clicking on all cylinders, and they're certainly not done yet. I am Matt Smith for 5280 Sports Network. As always, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. Check us out online at 5280sportsnetwork.com. Follow along on Twitter at RealMattSmith, that's Matt with 1 T, or at 5280SportsNet. Until next time, I'm Matt Smith.